Hey guys, just wanted to go over the Crusher mk3 build with you. Just to give some ideas of ways that it can be built. This is the GoPro mount that is designed for the mk3. It is adjustable, so you can actually move it forward to 20 degrees or you can tilt it back to 40 degrees just by loosening and tightening these bolts. For my long range quad, I have the antennas mounted like this, obviously for best reception. For more of a race build, I have adopted this method of antenna placement where the antenna actually bends down and underneath the propellers. I haven't had too many video issues with it this way. This is one I actually took to the Huntington race and it performed quite well. There is the groove notch cut in the top plate for those who like to bring their antennas up and out of the quad. This is the ultralight build where you actually take off that whole top section and mount the Swift underneath with this top little added carbon fiber piece. Right now this guy's coming in at 120 grams and all I need to do is put motors on it and a battery strap on it. So motors, props, battery strap. We'll see what that brings that guy to in the end. The kit comes with the indestructible battery strap, comes with the camera protector quad bra. This is the camera top plate. I call it the camera can print. You have your bottom plate, or your base plate, your sandwiching top plate. You have this, which is the camera mount plate, and then this is the top plate. For arms, you have 4 25mm screws. These are if you decide you want to run like a bolt where it just has a through screw grommets. Some flight controllers are starting to adopt that style for mounting, so I included those. They are optional. You don't have to use them. 4 20mm standoffs, 6 of these 12mm, 4 16s. You do have one of these little countersunk screws that has the flat head. I'll show you where he goes. So let's jump on into the build. First thing that I like to do is I grab the bottom plate, I take the 16mm screws, I put 2 through there, and then you lay the arms on after this. I leave the arms like this. Make sure that you have them keyed correctly so that they will meet in the middle. The arms are universal, but don't mount it the wrong way, otherwise you'll be wondering how to get your battery strap through and why it's weird. Next, put the top plate on. And I like to just run the screws through and not snug it up yet. This is the best way I've found to put the frame together. You don't need to push super hard when you're putting these screws in. If you push really hard, you could possibly pop the little press fit nut out, which isn't a big deal. You can just stick it in the vise and press it back in there. But, I mean, you don't have to push super hard. If you're pushing hard, then something's probably not quite right. Go ahead and put the back 2 arms on. Okay, now that you're at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to move the arms into position, line up the through holes, and stick in either the 25s or the 12s. I'm going to use the 12s for this. Just make sure that they're in correct, and then snug down all of those nuts. Next thing that you're going to do is screw on the standoffs to the 16mm screw, so the one that's coming farthest out. They don't need to be super tight. If you want to, you can just grab them with the pliers and give them a little bit of a snug. But again, where they're seated on that other metal press fit nut instead of just straight on carbon fiber, they seem to stay tight. I haven't had any come loose. The next thing that we're going to do is assemble the top camera can. What you're going to do is you're going to take your two regular M3 nuts and you're going to insert them into this square groove right here. Alright, so once you have those in, what you're going to do is you're going to take the top plate and you're going to slot it into the back and push it down in the top, and everything is going to be sitting flush. You're going to take the remaining two M12 screws and you're going to screw them from the top plate down into that nut. Now at this point you can think about mounting your camera in whichever position you want to. This build will take all the way up to a full-size HS 1177. A micro cam or a Swift Mini is going to be easier to fit into here, but depending on how you decide to mount it, I've been mounting my 1177s. This is the Aero V3, which is the camera that I definitely recommend. It's got the best image processor in there, and it has a lower standoff height. This is just, I actually got this one off my RC Mart for $6, and this camera is actually working really well. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take that countersunk screw, and the top plate has a recess in it where that screw is going to go in, and it will sit flush. The head won't have any, it won't be sticking out into the carbon, because you can mount your VTX to this top plate, and if you run your SMA there, then it won't have a screw head running out and grabbing it. So I like to put my driver on that screw, and then I just push this guy up through, and you'll see where that screw just comes up all the way through the top, sort of, if I can get my camera to focus. The M3 lock nut goes on top of that. Go ahead and snug him down. If you're tired of this thing moving around, then you can go ahead and take the two M10 screws and you can push it through the top here. That's where the M10s go. Oop, running away. Just like that. Then you will tighten down that back M3 nut. Until it's just snugged up. If you want to mount your antenna tubes, then these are antenna tube slots. The kits do include antenna tubes at this time. Until I run out, I can't find a place that has them in stock anymore. Then the next thing you're going to do, obviously, is just mount this down onto the top. Again, the M10s go in the front because they're going through the TPU as well as the carbon fiber. And then the M8s go in the back. Now, the advantage to having the camera mounted like this is there are 4 points of contact on any collision to stop things from hitting the camera. Also, it gets the camera kind of up higher and away from the props. If you're like me and you push it really hard on the track and you really hate blowing cameras, then you can take the TPU quad bra, and all you do to put it on is you slip it on the front, you stretch it over, slip it on the other, and then you're good. So if you come and you hit a pole, or if there's a conduit or something, it's not a soft pool noodle, then at least you'll be hitting the quad bra and rolling up to the top of the camera, or up to the top plate instead of right into the camera. That pretty much goes over the build. I left plenty of room so you can run nice thick battery straps, or you can just run this indestructible one that it comes with. You can put whatever type of Velcro or dual lock or whatever it is that people like to run on the bottom there. And there you have it. The frame is assembled.